So I can't even pronounce my name. Mr. Mackay is planning his wedding and has picked a venue. The venue charges $3,000 for use of the space and then $120 per guest for food. Okay, if Mr. Mackay has a budget of $9,000 for the wedding, what's the maximum number of guests that he can invite? Okay, this one to me. We spent a whole bunch of time yesterday looking at this sort of thing, saying like, what happens if no guests show up? How much would I spend? Okay, that's how I start questions that look like this. Okay, so I would say, I'll go black here. Y equals mx plus b. Okay. And what happens if no one shows up? How much is it going to cost? Vincent? It's $3,000, right? So if I were to plug in 0 for this whole term would disappear, and obviously this would be plus 3,000 on the end. Okay, and then you can fill in the rest. Okay? So now we introduce this. Here you go again. Here's this word per. You see the word per, you know that's a slope. Whatever that word per is attached to. Okay? So we go 120x plus 3,000. There's your equation. Okay? Now, maybe before I didn't necessarily model this in the best way I could have. Don't forget this. It's just nice to have there, right? So you can think as the questions get more complicated, or when you guys move into grade 10, it's just important, especially if you introduce multiple variables, you want to define what they are, right? And let x represent. What does x represent? We haven't talked about that yet. Yes, Opal?
People or guests.
Yeah, the number of guests, right? Okay. So that takes care of everything to here. All right. And if I said, just give me the equation, it'd be all fine and dandy. We'd be good and done. But it says, if Mr. Mackay has a budget of $9,000 for the wedding, what's the maximum number of guests that he can invite? So what did I tell you about? I told you I had $9,000 for cost. Cost is which variable, X or Y? Greer? Oh, okay. I thought you. Okay. Now the cost is the Y. So again, having those let statements there, although this might not be the most difficult question in the world, having the Y, like the let statements there, don't let you make a wrong substitution. So if I tell you about the cost in dollars, then plug it in for the variable that represents dollars or cost. So in this particular instance, we're going to have 9,000. That goes in for Y, right? And that's going to equal 120x plus 3,000. The only thing left is x, which conveniently is the thing that we are looking for, the number of guests, maximum number of guests. Is everybody okay with the setup? Now it's just math. Okay, math that I know you all can do because I saw it on your second test. Okay, so solve for x. Take away 3,000. Okay, so we get 9,000. Take away 3,000 is going to be 6,000. Is equal to 120x. Divide both sides by 120. X should equal 50. Okay, don't stop there. What am I missing? Some of you missed this. Yes, Allie? Yeah, okay. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Again, I don't think any. That's not the. Yes, Sarah?
If you wrote something like Mr. or like Mr. Mackay, okay, so like the total amount of people that he can invite is 50.
Yeah, that's all right too.
Is that fine?
Yeah. I just try to be overly descriptive. I think the point is, I try to be as descriptive as I possibly can be so that whoever marking this knows exactly that you know what you're doing, right? And so, but again, I overdo it so that I at least get something out of you that I can give you a mark for. Okay. So, no more questions with that one. Let's go down here. Okay. I want you all to pretend it's not for real. But I think we're okay with the fact that we're just going to pretend that that's an equal. We're going to solve this like it would be an equal sign. We just have to we have one cautious part to this. And it doesn't always come up, but I'm sure when I print you this CUDA sheet today and you take it home, I bet you it does come up, and those would be the questions that I expect you to come back with or that we would work on tomorrow for the review, okay? So I don't think it comes up with these two questions, so I wouldn't worry about it, okay, for right now. Okay? I think the goal here was, can I see you solve an inequality and graph it, not am I going to throw a trick at you, okay? That might not be the case on Friday. Might try and trick you on Friday and see if you know that one trick, because that's the only difference. You have to pay attention to that, okay? So let's solve this just like usual. I want to get x by itself. Well, let's add 7 to both sides, okay? Oh God. Okay, so we get negative 12 is greater than x. Negative 12 plus 7 is greater than x. Those are a 0 pair. So negative, what do we get here? 2 and 5, negative 5. Negative 5. Okay, any issues? How do we read this? This is a little funny because you're not going to stand on the left and read right, because then that's negative 5 is greater than x. That kind of seems weird. It does and it doesn't. Not necessarily the easiest way to interpret that. I would stand at the variable. Yes, Elizabeth? Okay. Good. I would stand at the variable wherever it is. Sometimes it might be in the middle of something else. Stand at the variable and read outward. Okay, that's how you would read these things off. So I'd stand at the variable and it says x has to be less than negative 5. All right. So then you go onto your graph. You know x has to be less than negative 5. So all values less than 5. Okay? And this is the second part to this question. Here's negative 5 here. Okay? And it has to be less than negative 5. Do you just stop? Declan? Okay, good. I didn't ask that question very well, but I think it came across. You can't just leave it like that. It has to have the arrowhead because it includes all numbers less than 5. Negative 5. Okay? So that takes care of the half the graphing part. What's the other thing I'm missing? Kenneth?
The circle.
What kind of circle is it? Colored in or open? Hollow. It's a hollow circle. Yes, Elizabeth? It's just an open one, right? So it's all numbers less than 5. Negative 5. I keep saying that. Negative 5. It does not include negative 5 because there's no equal sign. So you don't write it as a colored in dot. You write it as an open one. And you're done. That's what it means to graph that. Okay? And conveniently, we will see the exact, like, a different kind of boundary on the other question. Okay? So, does anybody have any questions with that? All right.